What's up, Tech King? Stefan here from TechRight. Today we have the S20 FE versus the Galaxy A71 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hope you guys are having a great day today. Hope everyone is safe out there. We have the FE on the left and we have the Galaxy A71 5G on the right. Both these devices are going to be 5G, so they're going to be 5G compatible, and both these devices are going to be pretty similar in price. You can get the FE for about $599, and you can get the Galaxy A71 5G for about $500. So $99 difference right here. We're going to go ahead and compare the specifications as well as some Geekbench scores and some other stuff, so definitely stay tuned. Now, starting off, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the displays. As you guys can see, the Galaxy A71 5G is a little bit bigger. That's going to be 6.7 inches, and the S20 FE is only going to be 6.5. Both these devices are also going to have a 2400 by 1080p screen, both a 20 by 9 aspect ratio. The A71 5G is going to be 393 ppi, and the S20 FE is actually going to be 405 ppi, so we have a little bit of a better ppi right here on the S20 FE just because it's 0.2 inches smaller. Now the FE is actually going to only have a Super AMOLED screen, and the Galaxy A71 5G is going to have a Super AMOLED Plus. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the S20 FE looks a little bit better, to be quite honest, but that's because it has that 120 hertz refresh rate, and we don't get that on the Galaxy A71 5G. We only have 60 hertz. So that's why it looks a little bit better. Now the screen to body ratio is a little better than the S20 FE at 88.38%, and the S20 FE only has 85.79%. So not too bad. Both these devices are also going to have Corning Gorilla Glass 3. The only other thing, about the S20 FE is it has HDR videos. So when you're watching YouTube videos, Netflix, Hulu, it's going to look a little bit better than the Galaxy A71 5G. Nonetheless, the A71 and the A71 5G have beautiful screens on their devices. Samsung has been doing a great job with that. Moving to the hardware. So for our system chip on the Galaxy S20 FE, we have the Snapdragon 865 processor, which is the best processor you can get right now in an Android phone. So obviously the S20 FE is going to be a powerhouse. Moving on to the A71 5G, we have the Samsung Exynos 980. That's also going to be a pretty good chipset inside of there, but I don't feel like it's, can really touch the 865. Nonetheless, the S20 FE has an octa-core processor, 22 megahertz, an ARM Cortex A77, and an ARM Cortex A55. Now onto the S20 FE, we actually have an octa-core 2840 megahertz with a Cairo 585. So our processor is going to be a little bit better. Moving on to the GPU, for the Galaxy A71 5G, we have a Mali G7 and we have the Adreno 650 on the S20 FE. Now, both these exact models are only going to have 6 gigabytes of RAM. The S20 FE does have a 6 and 8 gigabyte variant, so that's, yours to go ahead and pick. The 8 gigabyte variant is going to cost a little bit more, just letting you know that now, but this is the 6 gigabyte variant. Now, as far as the storage goes, both of these devices have 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and both these devices can expand their storage via micro SD card up to 1000 gigabytes. And also we have Samsung UI on both these devices. So we have Samsung One UI with Android 10.0, and the A71 5G and the S20 FE are both going to have updates, I believe, for up to 3 years, which is pretty crazy. So we're going to get up to Android 13, which is pretty cool. Moving on to the battery, this is pretty cool. Both these devices are actually 4500 milliamps. Now the Galaxy A71 5G only has fast charging, and the charging features we have on the S20 FE are all the premium charging features that we got on the Note 20 Ultra and all of the other premium devices. So we have Quick Charge 2.0, we have USB power delivery, we have Samsung Adaptive Fast Charge, we have Qi wireless charging, and we have reverse wireless charging on the S20 FE. So just know when you are paying a little bit more for the S20 FE, you are going to get those premium features. Now the other cool thing about these devices is they're both compatible with 25 watt fast charging. They both only come with 15 watt fast chargers, but they are compatible up to 25 watts, so that's really cool. Now moving on to the cameras on both these devices. Obviously on the right side we have the S20 FE with that nice lavender back, and on the left we have the Galaxy A71 5G. Now the difference you guys can obviously see here is the Galaxy A71 5G has a quad camera setup, and the S20 FE only has a triple camera setup. Now in my experience, the triple camera setup setup on the S20 FE is way better than the Galaxy A71 5G. The A71 5G in its respect has a really good camera for the price, but the camera that's inside the S20 FE is just phenomenal. So going down to the specifications, starting off with the Galaxy A71 right here on the left, we have a 64 megapixel main camera, we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, we have a 5 megapixel macro camera, and our fourth camera is going to be a 5 megapixel depth information camera. Now onto the S20 FE, we have a triple camera setup. As I said before, our main camera is going to be 12 megapixels, has OIS and PDAF in that, and our secondary camera is going to be an 8 megapixel telephoto with OIS and PDAF as well, and our third camera is going to be a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. So, you know, as far as the sensors and optimization goes, the Galaxy S20 FE is going to be a lot better than the Galaxy A71 5G, but I still feel like the A71 has a lot to offer, you know, especially the 5G compatibility being one, but I feel like the camera in this device is also, you know, pretty good for the price. Also for the A71 5G, we can record in 4K at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 240 frames per second, 720p at 960 frames per second, and we also have hyperlapse and EIS. Now, as for the S20 FE, we can record at 4K at 60 frames per second, 1080p at 240 frames per second, and 720p at 960 frames per second. So we pretty much have the same recording right there, other than, you know, we can shoot in 4K 60 FPS in the S20 FE. We can't do that on the Galaxy A71. What's funny is both these devices are made of the same materials. So we have the exact same materials, other than we just have, you know, this frosted polycarbonate back on here. We do not have a frosted back on the A71. It's more of a glossy transition to kind of like more dull glossy effect right there. But the S20 FE is going to be a plastic back, and the A71 5G is going to be a plastic back as well. But we are going to have aluminum frames on both these devices, and I have to say the Galaxy A71 feels pretty much the same to the S20 FE. The FE may feel a little bit more premium, but both these devices do not lack in that premium physicality. I really like the feel of both these devices. I just like the S20 FE a little bit better. Now, as far as the colors go on the A71 5G, we have Prism Cube Black, Cube Silver, and we have Cube Blue. As for the S20 FE, we have Cloud Red, Cloud Orange, Cloud Lavender, which is this one that I have currently, which I think is the coolest color. We have Cloud Mint, Cloud Navy, and Cloud White. So we have some really good colors for the S20 FE, and we actually have some pretty decent colors for the A71 5G as well. I feel like this matte plastic though looks a lot better, and I feel like people are gonna like this cloud effect on this device as well. So I feel this looks a little bit better, and I feel like most people are gonna like the design on the S20 FE better as well. Now, as for the Geekbench scores on both these devices, as you guys see, we have the S20 FE on the right and the Galaxy A71 5G on the left. We got a single core score of 609 on the A71, and we got a single core score of 892 on the S20 FE. So there kind of is a big difference right there, to be quite honest. That's about 300 points. Also, when we take a look at the multi-core scores, we have about 1,000 point difference between the S20 FE and the Galaxy A71. Now, just going and comparing those scores right now to other devices that we have on the list, as you guys see on the right, the S20 FE is going to literally beat everything on the list on the Geekbench scores. So we have a score of 757 on the OnePlus 7T, and we got a little over 150 points more on the Galaxy S20 FE. So this device pretty much blows every device out of the water. On the left, we have the A71 5G that got a score of 609, and we can find ourselves in between the OnePlus 6 and the Xiaomi Redmi K20 Pro. So that's a good spot for that device, being that it is $500, and those devices are essentially around those prices. Moving on to the multi-score, again for the S20 FE, we beat everything on the list by a lot, not just a little bit. We have like 600-700 point difference right here, which is pretty insane. And we got a score of 1864 on the A71, so we're going to find ourselves in between the Xiaomi Pocophone F1 and the OnePlus 6. So just showing you how powerful the Snapdragon 865 chipset is, compared to that processor that's in the A71. It just destroys it. But yeah, guys, in your opinion, which device do you think is better? I definitely want to know your opinion. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below, as well as subscribing if you're not part of the Tech Gang already. Also, hit the notification bell if you guys want to be notified every time I do upload a new video. This has been Safon from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.